So a guy parks his car in Harvard Yard, then goes to work at his normal job as chair of Harvard's chemistry and chemical biology department, but turns out he had another job that paid like $50,000 a month, so naturally the FBI had some questions. Well, it turns out that this scientist was working on a Chinese government program known as the Thousand Talents Plan, the stated purpose of which is to attract foreigners and Chinese nationals with advanced science knowledge and degrees back to the country to combat the phenomenon known as brain drain. Now, part of this project involved building a lab in Wuhan, which just so happens to be the epicenter of the new coronavirus, now known as COVID-19, which, as predicted in my video last month, turned out to be way more serious than originally stated. But point is, everybody started assuming and fake news started reporting that due to geographical coincidence, the Harvard scientist is affiliated and somehow responsible for the development of the deadly viral outbreak. Talk about disruptive innovation. Now, aside from being a little racist, this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard all week. And here's why. When I think about the use of chemical weapons in Asia, the first thing that comes to my mind is like Agent Orange. Not a spy fantasy sci-fi thriller about a brilliant Harvard genius who just so happens to turn into an evil scientist. No. This scientist is actually really accomplished in the field of nanotechnology, more specifically injecting nanoelectronics or teensy tiny artificial neural networks into the brain and other areas of the nervous system to push the boundaries between science and medicine. In other words, this nerd, he's in the business of creating cyborgs. Clearly, he did not partner with China to create a global health pandemic. I mean, it was probably just science for hire to develop mind control technology. I mean, you know how China just loves that 1984 style stuff. And quite frankly, there's very little opportunity for that here in the US because, well, everyone already drank the mind control Kool-Aid, or Soma, as they'd call it in Brave New World, another fantastic dystopian novel about totalitarian society. But bottom line is, the mind control market in the US is already saturated, and who can compete with Fox News and CNN? And by the way, smartphones have been hacking our brains for years. It's an open secret that text message notifications are designed to stimulate the amygdala, leaving us wanting more and more and more. Kind of like addictive pharmaceuticals. Oh, another industry that relies on science for hire. Oh, and another common area where fake news gets described as science news. Let's just say when pharma companies fund research to arrive at predetermined conclusions that support the sale of their products, the results might get a little skewed, or as we call it in the lab, contaminated.